Hi, this is Bonton Farms. My name is Ariel Johnson with 40 Acres News Media, and we're very excited to share our interview with Daron Babcock with you today. He is the visionary behind Bonton Farms. However, there would be no farm had his perception of money and wealth not changed. You see, he comes from a corporate jet setting lifestyle, meaning he had everything. However, he lost it all due to alcoholism, moved to this community to recover, and met people within the community who were dealing with some of the same demons. The difference, the desire for change.
I wanted to know, who is Daron Babcock outside of Bonton Farms, outside of the Bible group, and outside of the church?
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. I think my wife would tell you that's my life. Um, I'm a addict in recovery. I've been sober 18 years, and it's through that journey that my faith became real to me, and I think it's something that drives me. I think it's the core of who I am. I hope that everything that I do can be traced back to that, and that it's even though I screw it up a lot, that I take that very seriously.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So, I want people to understand the lifestyle you came from before you came here, and that you left a very affluent area to come here and basically, I guess to many, start all over again.
Yeah.
But you realize, like a lot of people don't realize, that there has to be some sort of attention given to a work-life balance. So I want to ask you how your relationship changed with regards to wealth and money.
It changed. It inverted 180 degrees. So I think that after my recovery, I needed to get to work and rebuild my life. I had lost everything, and by my nature, I'm an overachiever, and so it's a benefit, and it can be a curse if out of balance, as you mentioned earlier. And so while my life had been radically changed, and I wanted to find deeper purpose, like I was searching for something more than just work and money and stuff, but I didn't know how to go about it. And so I started working, and through that work, got promoted and promoted and promoted. And before long, money is an alluring thing. Status and power and influence are alluring things, and they're tricky. My partner Trog here talks about it. Money's like a rattlesnake. If you hold it, it's likely to bite you. And it's just something, I think, at least a part of my nature, that kind of comfort and security and status and power that comes with having money is alluring, but it's false, at least in my opinion. I think you chase things forever and you'll never catch enough of it.
Okay, I would like to know, what sort of skills and habits did you develop in the corporate world that you were able to bring to Bonton Farms?
Well, I think there's this understanding of solving complex problems, and to do so in a way that you can monetize it, right? And so I think one of the unique things about Bonton Farms is not only are we addressing the critical problems that our neighborhood faces, but we're doing so in a way that monetizes, so that too many folks that do social work, in my opinion, become dependent to philanthropy. And so that to me is like artificial life support. If you're dependent on something outside forever to survive, it's not real life. It's upheld by something else outside. And so we've got a long way to go to get there, but we work really hard to create businesses that thrive, not only to create jobs and solve some of the issues in our community through doing so, but to do so in a way where it sustains itself, where we don't need outside people to come in and help anymore, that our community will build up from within to hold its own.
Okay, so what I want to ask you in terms of the community you found and how it's changed over the years since you've been here, a lot of it has to do with what you've added to the community. What sort of relationship, when you got here, did the residents have to their predecessors who ultimately settled here but had a connection to an agrarian type of a lifestyle before they came here. So how do you change that mindset? Because the way I look at it, and I don't want to put too much of myself into this interview, it seems as if the basic life skills that we were taught for survival has gotten reversed in terms of us becoming consumers as opposed to producers, which is one of the reasons why we were brought over here from the beginning. So how do you change that mindset where someone said, man, I'm not getting my hands dirty. I'm not getting my, I don't want to smell like chicken all day. So how did you approach that?
We had it's I think a greater challenge because of the agricultural work they're required to do in prison. A lot of the people we serve here have been incarcerated, and their personal experience with agriculture was a part of their punishment.
I didn't consider that, but as you mentioned it, I think it's our own day.
But even in the negative, agriculture is so life-giving. It's so innate, and I believe it's built within our soul. Every human being has some draw, some allure to agriculture and growing your food and to being connected to the land around you. And because of that, I think that it overcomes those negative perceptions, either from the past of sharecropping, of slavery, and even today inside the prison systems where we're required. Farms heal people.
I truly believe that. I believe that in the sense that for someone trying to transform their life and starting with the seed and planting it on ground or soil that's fertile and being able to care for it and see something that they help produce.
You know what I think that I see a lot, to build on what you just said, is that we love to serve the people everybody else has given up on, right? So we take the hardest of cases. I love people that come here where everybody said, we don't know what to do anymore. And I think for a lot of us, there's this other need, this deep sense of feeling needed. And when you put a seed in the ground, if you don't nurture it, it dies. It needs you. And so there's something from the first day. They come here with nothing. They have a bunch of needs. I need this, I need that. I have no housing, I have no transportation, I have no relationships. I have a knowledge deficit. I don't know how to manage conflict. I have all these deficits, and I'm here to try to get help. And so that doesn't feel good to a human being, to just be a bunch of needs. We have this desire to be needed as well. And when they come here and they put a seed in the ground from day one, that seed needs them to live, and I feel valuable.
Right.
And I think I see that, even whether it's conscious or not, it happens.
Okay. So, back on Facebook, I just need to touch on this for a few moments.
Sure.
And our initial conversation involved me reminding you of some of those disparaging remarks that were being made about you, where people that are in this community or near the community as being residents of South Dallas, District 7, were referring to you as somewhat of a white savior. And my response at that time was, well, if you don't have the know-how and the connections to make the type of change where it's not in a small effect, but big enough and large enough to have an impact, then why not make way for someone who has the ability to do that? And they have the know-how, they have the knowledge, and they have the connections. So in terms of that, have you won those particular people over? I'm not going to mention any names, but to this day, I know you have critics in terms of what you're doing, but whether it's valid or not, I want you to speak on that.
Yeah, I think all I can do every day is show up and be sincere and work hard and to earn trust. And I know that I look like a whole bunch of people that have done great harm over time. And so I can't expect that everybody's just going to forgive and embrace me. So I don't have that illusion. I also don't think that if we're working, doing the right things, if everybody likes you, you're not pressing hard enough. And so I know that great things come with pushback. And so there's a lot of variables to it. I think the biggest one is to understand the history of how many times and how many people throughout the black and white history our side has done great harm and misused the relationship to gain something and not really be here to serve or make a difference. And so I have to accept that and just show up every day and try to earn it over again.
Okay, with that being said, I want to ask you, who realistically do you think would be your successor? Say 30, I'm giving you 30 to 40 years from now,
I hope not. Yeah.
By the grace of God, I don't know what your future holds, but I'm just saying, who would be your successor? Would it be one of your proteges from this, as you refer to it, an oasis? Or would it be one of your sons?
Oh, no, I think that it would probably be twofolded. We have people here that not only come from Bonton, but other places that aspire for this kind of change to happen in their neighborhoods, and I would love to be a part of empowering them to go back and do that. But the thing is that most communities already have leaders there that are fighting these battles. I can think across Dallas to Miss Anna Hill and Angie Sanders in West Dallas and so many other people that have been fighting these battles since before I knew these were issues. And I think in order for us to see true transformation, there needs to be a connection between the local community leaders that are there fighting, they're in the infantry, and then people that have resources and networks and access to capital. And when those two things come together, you see what happens in Bonton happen. And so my hope would be to come alongside the people that are already there, that have been fighting for decades, and just bring the resources that wrap around them that allow this to be birthed and to be possible. But the leaders are already there.
Okay, now I just want to speak a little bit on this interview that you had with the magazine 2 years ago. I don't want to mention their name. I'm 40 Acres News. And this is what we're promoting today. However, because it was a rather extensive article, I was able to go there and find just if it could be a novel in an article form, that's what I found. But what I'm wanting to know is in that particular article, it mentioned you plan to bring, in this article, I just want everybody to know, in terms of goal setting.
Right.
Okay? The person I'm sitting with right now, Daron Babcock, has done an excellent job of staying on track with the goals that he's set for this market, things that were not in full swing at the time the article was published, and where we are over 2 years, like 2.5 years later. So, do we have the cooking classes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do we have the yoga classes?
We do.
Okay. Do we have the chiropractor?
No.
Okay.
No.
How far or how close are we to getting a chiropractor?
Really, it's a space issue, and so we have plans that I'll show you when we have time, but we have plans in the next 24 months to build a health clinic here. So right now on the health side of it, we have food access that we've worked really hard on. Through the farms and the market and farmers market that we have, but now we need to bring healthcare closer. And so we're going to work with Parkland Hospital and others to provide the service, but we have to have the building. You know, Bonton is one of those inner city communities that doesn't have a lot of infrastructure. You know, most other communities have resources, whether it be empty buildings or underutilized buildings. We don't have that, so it's a bit harder for us to build the infrastructure we need to succeed long term, but we're finally there. And so within the next 18 or 24 months, there will be a full-service health clinic down here. Okay. And that would offer the space for a chiropractor and other health services.
Okay, and the preschool?
It's open. We have 51 kids this year.
Okay, where are they?
They're at Cornerstone Baptist Church.
Okay.
So
is that the King's Academy?
The King's Academy.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing place that we're able to offer, you know, we think there's 7 things, Ariel, that are missing in our inner city communities that are designed by the structure of our past. We lack of it because we are segregated from the rest of the city. We lack economic development. We lack equitable education because the system is built on property tax revenue, and where you don't have the property tax revenue, our kids don't have equal education. Our transportation services have failed us to get us to the goods and services and opportunities that are on the other side of town. Our housing is not affordable. It's controlled by slumlords and people that we call in Dallas affordable housing as being a $170,000 home. I read an article just last night about a new affordable housing going up on Malcolm X that's $970 a month. Well, that doesn't align with wages, so if you're building housing that the jobs people work can't afford, it's not affordable. And so to me, bringing that authentic conversation that we need housing that's safe and dignified and matches and aligns with wages, that's one of the things we're doing here. And then lastly, even if you have a job, you're going to fall short. We all do from time to time. I have a credit card. I have several of them. And when I fall short, I can just pull out that piece of plastic and I bridge a gap so that I can overcome that deficit and remain whole. Our community doesn't have that. We rely on predatory lending or street credit. In fact, the last murder that happened in our community was because of street credit gone bad. It's a dangerous, it's a predatory proposition. And we think if you address all 7 of those things, then our community will normalize. And by normalize, think about this. In Bonton, we'll graduate a little more than half our kids from high school. The state average is 89%. That's not normal. About half our men will go to prison before their 25th birthday. That's not normal. We suffer from more than double the rate of cancer and stroke and heart disease and diabetes and childhood obesity. And men in Bonton will live 11.7 years less than men in the county we're in. That's not normal. And so when I say normalize, I'm talking about a community that with its own strength and its own resources has the foundations to thrive, absent any kind of intervention or government assistance, or we're just building a community the way we built community on the other side of town.
Thanks for checking out part 1 of our interview with Daron Babcock. We will present the second half of the interview tomorrow. Please be sure to make sure you've already liked and followed 40 Acres News Media on Facebook, and also follow 40 Acres News Media on Instagram. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you tomorrow.